This is Edward, and I'm broadcasting live here on justin.tv/EdwardStarcraft, and we're watching a game in the semifinals of the GameClucks Seattle SC2 LAN with a prize pool of approximately $500. This is on February 7th, 2011, and we are watching the first game in between these two people in the semifinals bracket. Currently at the bottom hand side of the map, Metalopolis, is the Zerg player, and his name is tQaquanda, or I don't know, aquan-da. At the other side of the map, we have a Protoss player, and his name is RaNgeD. RaNgeD is saying, good thing I'm cannon rushing, but he has nothing in his base. Oh, this could be a bit interesting to watch. But if, no, never mind. He does have stuff in his base. I was lying. What? Oh, that's fine. Anyways, so we're going to take a look at this game and see what both players are going to go for. It looks like RaNgeD is going to start out and do... Oh, he's not starting out with the cannon rush, unlike what he promised, unfortunately. Yeah, some people are like, we want a cannon rush. Well, at the other side of the map, it looks like aquan-da going to open up with his spawning pool first. It's definitely going to be interesting because, I mean, with that spawning pool first, he's not going to be able to macro up as quickly as with the hatch first. Some Zergs will be aggressive enough to put down a hatchery before their spawning pool, even in close positions on the map, Metalopolis, but it is kind of dangerous at times. But, you know, good players, they will be able to handle the different circumstances thrown at them, and a lot of good Zerg players will be able to handle any sort of aggression, even if they do 15 hatchery. Now, let's take a look at the production tab. Looks like everything's coming out at a normal time for both of these players. RaNgeD, we've seen quite a bit in this game. We haven't really seen tQaquanda, and RaNgeD is saying, okay, so I lied. Is he going to say, I'm not cannon rushing? aquan-da's like disappointed. He's like, let me cancel my roach warren. aquan-da is still on one base. It looks like he is saving up money to go for an expansion. Looks like RaNgeD taking this expansion. And now we are going to watch 2 base Zerg versus a 1 base Protoss. We're going to see what RaNgeD is going to do. I think he's probably going to go... I think we saw before in his Protoss versus Zerg games that he went for basically a 3 gateway expand. That might be what he's doing this time. It looks like aquan-da poking in with some Zerglings, doing some damage to the shields of this gateway. One stalker coming out for RaNgeD very soon, so the Zerglings are going to have to run away. And looks like they run away before the sentry even comes out for RaNgeD. RaNgeD building another 2 gateways, and I think he's actually going to go for an expansion in this map. Kind of interesting to see. I'm not as sure if RaNgeD is going to be able to build up a huge death ball like most Protoss players, because, you know, this is a smaller portion of the map. It's just a smaller portion of the map. A lot of times people don't go for hidden expansions or whatnot on this map because it's very hard to defend them if your opponent discovers it. And with the multiple armies of Zerg, and then with the annoying drop play of Terran and whatnot, it's just very hard to defend and really easy to attack an expansion that's not on the bottom bottom right hand corner of the map. Anyways, we see tQaquanda still poking in with his Zerglings. But it looks like RaNgeD going to go for that sentry expand. This warp gate technology going to finish in a few seconds. And aquan-da looking like he's still just producing more drones. He is getting Zerg melee attacks level 1. I'm actually joined here with Eric. Hey, Eric.
Oh, hey, what's up?
And what do you think about the level 1 upgrade for the melee attacks?
Well, it's kind of a defensive move. I mean, it's a pretty late expansion from the Protoss, which means he could be hiding 4 gates back there, and +1 Zerglings hold off a 4-gate rush really well.
Really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
+1 Zerglings do actually pretty well against Zealots, and Zerglings beat Sentries and Stalkers pretty well anyway.
Yeah, well, it looks like RaNgeD now taking his expansion. tQaquanda haven't scouted it just yet, but he's going to scout it in a few seconds. There are a few sentries. Maybe he can get the sentries to waste a force field or 2. It looks like, no, he's not going to do that. Now, looks like Zerg player. Zerg players usually have two options when your opponent expands relatively early on in the game. One is to expand. One is to expand, and another is to just kind of all in or try to apply a lot of early pressure against your opponent. And it looks like aquan-da is going to choose to expand to the gold. This is something that we don't see a lot on this map. What do you think about that?
Well, it kind of makes sense with the +1 speedlings. Speedlings can run back and forth between bases quite easily. And I think it's a pretty good option against a fast expanding Protoss, because Protoss cannot move out without Colossi against speedlings.
Definitely. And then, I guess if you are really good at your force fields, you can definitely move out. Range, this wall up is a bit weird. He's going to block off his own entry into his main base relatively well. There's still a small, but there's a very nice choke over here. Curious why he's doing that.
Yeah, it helps a lot against speedling counters.
Yeah.
It gives a little extra time to get that force field up and block off your ramp.
To make sure that the speedlings don't come in. Looks like aquan-da going to be making a macro hatchery over here in a very weird location. Usually when you get a macro hatchery, that means the Zerg player is going to go for a lot of speedlings and probably mutalisks, but we don't see a lair just yet. Instead, we see 14 zerglings in production and 5 banelings. Do you think he's going to try to baneling bust this expansion?
Yeah, it could be a really high economy baneling bust, and I really like banelings against a 2-base Protoss. Colossi are not going to be out with a fast expansion with Forge.
Yeah, and that sentries actually do bonus damage. Banelings do bonus damage versus banelings, which is very potent. If you don't get up force fields or if you run out of energy for force fields, and now it looks like Sentry going to scout. It is going to see this expansion from aquan-da, and he's like, oh shoot, how long has that been up? He also sees this macro hatch. He said, really interesting placement here. He's going to see this quite a bit of info, get a lot of scouting information, and we're going to see how he reacts, but at the same time, he doesn't really scout these banelings. Now it looks like these banelings going to go in through the back of the base for range. The force field's not working out the best, and
the banelings take out a ton of probes.
Yes, but a lot of probes still at like 1 health, just exactly 1 health remaining, and that's going to be huge. Then again, these harvesters didn't quite go down. Let's take a look at the harvester count, and right now Protoss is down to 42, while the Zerg player actually had 53, which that was a pretty successful baneling bust, because even though he didn't take down all of these harvesters, and there's still a lot of harvesters that are down quite a bit, if he comes in and 1 baneling comes in, then that's going to do a lot of damage, and also these zerglings can pick off those workers really quickly. And now it looks like aquan-da going to expand while applying even more pressure to range. Again, some nice force fields, but those zerglings, these banelings, I think they're going to try to come in through the back. But this baneling not doing any damage.
Yeah, this is really interesting play by aquan-da. He's taking a 4th base and making a lot of drones between making zerglings. He's keeping the pressure on hard while taking a huge economic lead. Yeah,
definitely, but now RaNgeD is going to move forwards. His sentries don't have too much energy, however. We take a look at the army value, and aquan-da with not much army. However, I don't think the lair is up for aquan-da. But now that 1 void ray, getting shot down with that queen with just 3 health. There are 2 more queens here, so they can transfuse this queen and heal it back to full health. Some zerglings trying to take out a few more of these stalkers, some force fields from these sentries, but these sentries are really drained out of energy. But all of these zerglings do fall to the zealots. The zealots, do they have +1 attack? Yes, they do. And wow, the zealots are just like at very low health, but they do manage to survive. They're going to survive to do a lot more damage. 14 banelings morphing in, and another 30 zerglings coming in. However, more force fields. RaNgeD is really running out of force fields, though, so he has to use his force fields wisely. aquan-da might lose this base, but these banelings coming in. Not too many force fields left for RaNgeD, and all the sentries go down. And I think now TQ, aquan-da morphing in another 20 zerglings. I think he should be able to hold this off as long as he's able to get that void ray. A spire coming down for aquan-da. He might have to sacrifice his base, however. And more zerglings coming in and doing even more damage to this army.
Yeah, I'm really curious about RaNgeD decision to go Immortal and Stargate against Zergling Baneling. It doesn't seem to be like the best counter.
Yeah, definitely. The Immortal, I mean, it can take a lot of baneling shots, but I mean, I don't know. That's exactly right. Range rebuilding a lot of stalkers, but aquan-da going to have to sacrifice this base, but that's okay because he has another gold base, and it looks like he's building yet another macro hatchery. His placement for those macro hatcheries are really weird, but it looks like aquan-da going to lose quite a few overlords over here, and that's going to be a huge blunder for him. At the same time, speedlings coming in, and banelings coming right into range space, taking out a lot of harvesters, and wow, range still with like 1 health harvesters left. And it looks like the aftermath of this battle, it looks like now range with less harvesters, with about 7 less harvesters than aquan-da, but then at the same time, aquan-da with a lot less army, and he is supply blocked. Some more banelings coming in, they might be able to take out all of these zealots, and they do. But then there are a lot of sentries and stalkers. Might be able to take out the stalkers. These speedlings are very good. And now 3 queens coming in. Those queens are what he has left, and that's not looking good for aquan-da, but he has another 40 zerglings coming into play. A lot of these macro hatcheries, they might get killed really quickly. And now all of these zerglings coming in, and they should do a lot of damage to ranged army yet again. And I'm not sure if ranged army can hold this off. The onslaught of zerglings is taking down quite a few units. It looks like now range is going to lose all of his army. That's not going to be good for him. He is walling off his natural base again, but he's going to mine out of his main base right now.
Yeah, so these zerglings are 2-2 against the 1-0 ground army of range. They're really tearing through the gateway units.
Yeah, definitely. And now that the army values are equal, and that aquan-da has actually, he has a slight disadvantage yet again. He's running in some more zerglings, going to try to do some more damage to these workers, and these workers with so little health, but looks like they're not targeting the right units because the auto, the A move doesn't really do a lot, so it looks like aquan-da just sacrificing a lot of his zerglings, perhaps getting some more worker kills, but no, it looks like ranged going to still have 52 workers, but still, I mean, ranged, he's running out of minerals. His main base is out of minerals, but he looks like he is securing a third. And it's kind of funny that he's securing this and aquan-da scouting everywhere except for the base right next to him. There's some mutalists out on the field for aquan-da, but there are a good number of cannons and whatnot for range. Range doesn't have too much anti-air, however, he does have a lot of sentries, but those will go down very quickly to these mutalists, and I think without anti-air, range is going to again lose all of his ground army, and this is again not looking good for range. Eric, oh, there's the GG from range. And congratulations to aquan-da for taking this game.
Pretty much winning with only zerglings and banelings. That was quite an interesting game.
It's definitely, zerglings and banelings are very potent against Protoss players, especially if you can get a surround on their army, and aquan-da will manage to do that, and congratulations to aquan-da for taking that first game